This is Mastering Mathematics with your teacher, Karen Weston.
Good evening, Antigua Barbuda. Welcome again to another in the series, Mastering Mathematics. This is a series sponsored by the Ministry of Education using its EBU unit in conjunction with the Mathematics Center for Research and Education. Here we are out to educate the public in terms of what mathematics can do for us in this country. It is also a program sponsored by ABS Television. And we have to say thank you for that. Yes, we have been off a long time, but with so many things happening, culturally, independence celebration, we are back. And we will remind you that our topic, matrices, yes, we did complete everything. Yes, we told you about the different things we had for our matrix in terms of the rules, how we add them, subtract, multiply, and we never say division, we say finding the inverse. Today, my aim is just to show you that the questions on the examination papers have a pattern. And it is what we know, the intuitive language that we're going to use that will help us. So we're working examples, and you get your books out, get your pens and your paper, because you will be working with me or besides me. Okay? So here we are, and we're using the CXC examination paper. And I'm starting from the examination paper 2014. So that was just the one from last year. The question, matrices, and it says the matrix M is defined as, so let us put it up for you, that M is equal to, and we have 7, 3, P, negative 1. 7, 3, P, negative 1. And it says, determine the value of P for which the matrix M does not have an inverse. Determine the value of P for which the matrix M does not have an inverse. So, what is our authority to knowledge in terms of this? When is it a matrix does not have an inverse? Our first thing, again, would be to tell you that you have your formula that says the inverse, M inverse, would have been equal to 1 over the determinant, M, and it is times the adjoint of M. Okay? It does not have an inverse if the determinant of M is equal to 0. Do we remember that? Yes. There is no inverse when the determinant of M is equal to 0. So then, wrapped up in this explanation, determine the value of P for which the matrix M does not have an inverse is saying to you that det M is equal to 0. That is what we get out of that expression, okay? So the determinant of M is equal to 0. We will remind you too that we have our little things, and we're accustomed to call them A, B, C, and D. And we have given ourselves an expression to say that our determinant M, is equal to AD minus BC. And that is what we're saying is equal to 0. Here, our A stands for 7, D is equal to negative 7, B is equal to 3, and P is equal to C, and C is equal to P. So that we can write that since AD minus BC is equal to 0, this would imply that, and it is our AD, 7 times negative 1 minus, and it is 3 times P would be equal to 0. And I'm going slowly for my friend who says, you remember, I am slow. What is all this we said? When we get our examination paper, because of the information we have learned and we know, the question just simply says the matrix M is defined as, and they give us this, and it says determine the value of P for which the matrix M does not have an inverse. And that is where we take our cue. If the matrix does not have an inverse, it means the determinant is equal to 0. What is the determinant? It is our first term multiplied by our last term minus our third term times our second term. All right? And that is what is equal to 0. So we have done it right here. And all we have to do is simplify and solve a linear equation. So then here we have a negative times a positive would give us a negative 7. And it is negative 3p is equal to 0. Take the number over to the other side. So we're going to be left with negative 3p is equal to 7. And then we're changing positive, so 3p would have been equal to negative 7. And this tells us we don't want 3p, we want 1p. So we're dividing both sides by 3. So p then would have been equal to negative 7 upon 3. Now I'm doing this for people at home, that in this line here, you would have been getting, it is, so let's just erase that, because I'll say in the examination room, you would not have to put in this step. But because I know I have my learners listening, I'd be saying it's 3p over 3 would be equal to negative 7 over 3. Cancel our 3's, and so we're getting p would be equal to negative 7 upon 3. And that is the answer. All right? So we took our time, went through that step, told you that you see your answers or what is required is wrapped up in the information that they're giving you. So again, if a matrix does not have an inverse, the determinant is equal to 0. And we get our determinant, first term times our last term, minus our second term times our third term. It's not, it had no inverse, equal to 0. Solving a linear equation, get our value for p. And it is that easy. All right? When we come back, because I'm sending you on a little break, we're going to give you a simultaneous equation and ask you to express it in a form and then to solve for A, B, and C. No, they don't even ask you to solve, they just ask you to express it in that form. So let's send you on a little break and we'll be right back.
Don't look on what I cannot do. Focus on what I can do. I may not say what I do, but I can hear and feel it as strongly.
I may not hear, but that does not and should not affect my ability to learn and to function in the real world.
I am a gifted student I need the opportunity to soar. Support me in my climb to higher levels of learning.
Some of our children have special educational needs. They have a right to an education. So let us teach them the way that they learn and help them to achieve their full potential.
Complete all readings and especially homework assignments as soon as possible after they are announced. And definitely complete all assignments before new material is covered. This ensures that the information is fresh in your mind and linked to more basic concepts previously learned. Do your assignments early enough to allow you to get help with the things you do not understand.
All right, so we're back, okay? And again, we're expecting that you would have been with us from the beginning, and we know exactly what is being talked about in terms of matrices. Now, when it comes to the simultaneous equation, because they have given us this, it says express the equations, and we have 4x minus 2y is equal to 0, and we have 2x plus 3y is equal to 4, and they have asked us to express it in the form ax is equal to b, and it says where a, x, and b are matrices. Okay, so we remember our notes, don't we? Yes. What have we been saying? Every time we have a simultaneous equation, we just don't jump in and solve it. We have to dress it in the form that is commendable with somebody acting in the matrices paradigm. And so we have taught you that there are 3 matrices. Remember that, okay? The first matrix is made up of just the numbers, just the coefficient for the variables. And instead of variables, we can say for the letters. So you remember, the first thing we said is as if somebody came, took out the x's, took out the y's, and so our A would be equal to 4, negative 2, 2, and 3. Okay, that's our first one. The second one, what did we say? The x would represent whatever the letters or the variables are, and it is written as a column matrix, and it is x and it is y. Okay, that's our x. And our b would stand for our constant terms or for our numbers after the equal sign. Okay, so then b, the third matrix, would be equal to 0, 4, and this too is written as a column matrix. So do we remember that? That's our very first step. Okay, and then so when they ask us to write it in the form ax is equal to b, ax equal b would imply, so we have our bracket, just the numbers 4, negative 2, 2, 3, and it is times xy, and that's equal to 0, 4. Okay, and that's equal to 0, 4. And guess what? That is all the question is asking you. That is all the question is asking. Write it in the form ax is equal to b, where a, x, and b are matrices. So that is our first matrix question. Okay? So you see the information as we have it. It is just used in the questions every time. Nothing new. what we're supposed to be studying, what we're supposed to be learning. That is what comes back in the examination question. So that was the question for 2014 in terms of matrix, okay? Telling you it has no inverse, so the determinant is equal to 0. And then how do we write a simultaneous equation in a matrix form to be solved? I then turn to another examination paper, and this one, the first example I gave you came from the June. This one is coming from the January examination paper. Okay, the January examination paper. And this is what it says. Listen to the language. Nothing changes. Okay, nothing changes. Now, here we go. And it says T is equal to, so we have T is equal to 2, negative 1, 1, 3. 2, negative 1, 1, 3. And we have to determine T inverse, and it says the inverse of T. Okay, so they didn't even just give you the symbol and left you to find out what it meant, you know. They also wrote it in words for you. So when you're saying, what is this T to the negative 1? They're not just leaving it there. They're telling you T to the negative 1 means T inverse. All right, so it says determine the inverse of T, and that is our matrix up there. All right, it does not get any more difficult than what your teachers have been giving you, and all you have to do is to do the work, be diligent, and learn those stuff. Okay, again, we're accustomed to our little a, our little b, our little c, and our little d. And we would say, just as we said before, T inverse, our formula would have been saying it's 1 over the determinant, T, and it's times the adjoint. Okay? Adjoint of T. And that is equal then to 1 over, and it would be, again, we have been repeating this, the first term multiplied by the fourth term. Or let's write it out first for you, because yes, you're on a learning exercise. In the exam room, you may not have to do this. So it is AD minus BC, and it is times, and what did we say? The adjoint is the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. And we change the lives of these two people. That's our little story in terms of saying that. Do you remember that? The first shall be last and the last shall be first. Change the lives of those two people. So then it's just now equal to 1 over, and it is 2 times 3, and it is minus, and it is negative 1 times 1. And times, and in our bracket we have 3, we have negative 1, putting it this way so you can see, and then it is negative 1, and it is 2. So we interchange these two. 3 comes up by 2, and 2 goes down to 3. Change these. This is a negative, so when we're doing the changing, there's going to be a positive, and this is a positive, so it's going to be a negative. So let's do our multiplication. So it's now 1 over, and it is 2 3s are 6, and negative times a negative gives us a positive. So it's now plus, and 1 times 1 is just 1, and it is times 3, negative with negative, positive, negative 1 and 2. So it is just equal now to 1 over 7, and it is times 3, 1, negative 1, 2. And no, I don't think they want you to leave it as that. So we have to know that the scalar, which is 1 over 7, must be multiplied by everything inside. So when we have 1 over 7, and it is times 3, 1, negative 1, 2. Then it is, and I'm just doing it because I have people at home and who will say that they are slow. 1 over 7 times 3, it's 1 over 7 times 1, and it is 1 over 7 times negative 1, and it is 1 over 7 times 2. So that we know when we have whole numbers, they can be written as over 1. Isn't that true? Over 1, over 1, over 1, over 1. So then, this is again our very simple fraction. Nothing can cancel, so 3 times we multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. So then that now would be equal to, and it is 3 over 7, and it is 1 over 7, it is negative 1 upon 7, and it is 2 upon 7. And that is the answer. For our fifth formers from here, I expect you to go from here straight to that one there. Okay? But we fill in the gap for our aunties and our uncles and our cousins walking on those places, and our taxi men who are really listening, and these guys in All Saints, etc., and my 94-year-old Miss Shepherd, who is also listening and working the problems. Okay, so that is right there. So it is 3 upon 7, 1 over 7, negative 1 over 7, 2 over 7. How did I get from here to there? Then we did this. Everything inside must be multiplied by what's outside, and we can put our whole number. 3 is the same thing as 3 over 1. Nothing can cancel, so we multiply numerator by numerator, denominator by denominator, and we get here. But our fifth formers now, we expect you to go from here straight to that one. Okay, so that is what that question was asking. Now, so we have touched for you the questions that comprised the matrix composition of that part of the examination for the year 2014. Okay, we gave you the one that came in January, and we gave you the one that came in June. Again, you're going to see tomorrow when I show you, because all I'm doing this time now, because I'm closing off the topic for matrix, we're on the examination question. You're seeing the language is the same. You're seeing the information is what you have been taught. There is no mystery to anything. The things are not hard or difficult. And parents, you have to start challenging your children. We see too many of them, they don't get something for the first time, and it's just, what that? And you can't do it, and that's it. Our parents who went to sea with their little crocus bags around their waist, with their little things on their farming to cut those cotton, they taught us to be strong. I don't know what's happening these days, but these children, they're coming to classes, and you can see nobody's pushing them. Nobody's telling them they have to go beyond what they think they can't do. All right, they can't do it, and so they resign to that. I don't know what to do, and that's it. So please start encouraging our students. Let them understand there is nothing that comes easily in life. And if we don't understand something for the first time, it's not time for you to get up. It's time for you to work at it a bit harder. All right? So until tomorrow, we will show you again that the examination questions have no mystery to them. It is the information that you were taught, and we just have to know where to apply that knowledge. So from Jetta and from the guys here at ABS Television, this is Karen Weston saying, see you next time.
Join us next time for another in the series, Mastering Mathematics, a production of the Education Broadcasting Unit in the Ministry of Education and ABS TV.